So defeat to Coalville tonight. How do you reflect on that?
Hey, we said in there, we're not expected to compete with a team like Coalville. Doesn't mean that we can't compete on a physicality level, run as hard as them, try as hard as them, and that's what we felt. We liked, of course, we liked the quality against them today. They're a quality outfit. They should have been out of this league 2-3 years ago, and they deserve all full credit. They're relentless in what they do, and they're for clubs at this level to aspire to get to in that respect. For ourselves, it's just so disappointing. From, like I say, there's no excuse to not be able to go and compete from a physicality aspect. It's the first time ever that you'll sit and go like we're not as bothered about the quality. It was just purely based on that. We can accept not being at the level of quality of that team with the situation and where we are at the moment. You can't build a team with as much quality as Coalville in that time. So full credit. But what you can do is every time you come through a door, you want to be the best version of yourself. We certainly want to try and be the best version of ourselves. We'll work morning, noon and night to do that, and that's all we ask of everyone around that's at this football club as well. There's too many good people. There's some positives within there tonight in a couple of players, but again, that's because they've wanted to do the best that they physically can, Jack Rogers in particular. So yeah, it's disappointing. At 3-0 down, you're thinking, well, if you go and nick a goal, it looks a little bit more respectable. But that old soft belly so far has happened, and you crumble, and it looks horrendous on paper again. And at the end of the day, we have to take the flak for that. But all we will take the flak for that, and we will take things on the chin. All we want is people to actually want to be the best versions of themselves, and that's all that we can ask from a group of players.
Yeah. And of course, we've only played 2 games in October now. From a footballing perspective, is that quite frustrating?
Yeah, of course it's frustrating, a bit stop-start, but no excuse. You know what I mean? If anything, you should be chomping at the bit by having the little breaks and be ready to get out there. And so, like I said, it's not ideal. You don't get that run, but it's certainly not an excuse.
Yeah, and of course, with the time away from the pitch, we've had players like Laurel and Ross that have had time to recover and get back into the team. Was that pleasing for you to get them back in the squad tonight?
Yeah, listen, I think Ross come back in tonight. You look at the scoreline and you think like I say, it doesn't look good for a goalkeeper. Listen, it'll be good to get him back in and back, getting that confidence with his body after being out a long time. But the reality of it is that we have to stand up and be counted, and we have to take responsibility. And that's what I said in there, that we should be embarrassed as a group. And first and foremost, we'll always be the first ones to take full responsibility. But what we have to do, we can't shirk the challenge and shirk the position that we're putting ourselves in. And there's no excuses. And it's quite honest, quite frank and quite harsh, but it's at that time it's harsh. And we're at a stage now where we've done different aspects in terms of trying to get the best out of people, trying to get the best out of players, and like we said, we can always forgive sometimes your quality on a night that just don't happen, it don't quite just come off, and that happens in football and it will always happen. But I think for the big thing in terms of a group, in terms of from where we're looking at it, is that we give everything we try and do off the pitch. We try and give the players as much information, as much help as possible. We'll do anything, we'll go above and beyond. But I think too many times we've stood here in front of you and we've questioned attitude, and that's where the problem is, and that's why we're in there. It comes to that point now where enough's enough, and people have to start taking responsibility. And first and foremost, we're at the front of the line, and it's not, and that's just it. We can sit here and we can talk about different things we've talked about in the game, and yeah, we could have had this, we could have had that. The bottom line is we're just not up to standard, and we're just not up to where we need to be. In terms of Coalville, we know they're a million miles away in terms of their preparation and how long they've been together and where they are, where they're going for. But in terms of even other teams and this season, we've been in the building long enough, and that's a reflection of us. that's why we have to take responsibility, and we have to take accountability, and we have to do something about it, and that's the bottom line. The bottom line is we can't just keep talking about we could have done this, we could have done that, we could have been better. It's building. Football's not like that. Football will never be like that. It's a results-driven business. It's a results-driven game, players and staff, and you have to stand up and be accountable, and especially even more when you put on performances like that. And like I said, this is a group. It's not a case of the people on the pitch and they need to be. It's a group, and first and foremost at the front of the line is me and Brad, and that will never change. And that's why we have to now. We have to, like I've always said, embrace the challenge. But it's all about embracing the challenge now. We have to really, really put our foot down in the terms of this is the bare essentials, this is the bare minimums, and whether that works, whether that is 5 players left, whether that's 6 players left, whether that's 10 players left, the reality is something needs to change, and something will change, and that starts as soon as we start tomorrow morning.